Hey everybody, I'm Chef Tom with atbbq.com, and this is Beer Can Turkey. You're probably familiar with beer can chicken. All we're doing today is supersizing it. Now the idea here is that you put a can of beer inside the cavity of whatever poultry you're cooking, and that beer adds aroma and moisture. Now at the same time, we're gonna add a bunch of flavor and moisture to the inside of the meat by injecting with a very simple 3-ingredient butter injection, and then add barbecue rub on the outside. This is a fantastic meal for your next holiday, or honestly any day of the year. First thing we'll do is mix up our butter injection. So I've got 1 cup of melted unsalted butter. We're gonna add to that about 1 tablespoon of our Butcher House brine. Now typically you would mix this into water, and you could wet brine a turkey that way, but you can also use that as a dry brine or simply to flavor an injection. The flavors are really simple: salt, garlic, pepper, and a bit of onion. We'll whisk that in just to get it dissolved a bit, and then we're gonna add also 1 tablespoon of Kansas wildflower honey. A little bit of sweetness, a little bit of saltiness, a little bit of savoriness. We're working with a 14-pound turkey here. It's been sitting open in the fridge for a few hours just to kind of dry out the skin, to get some of that moisture off the outside. The great thing about this is there's not a lot of trimming to do. So anything excess around the edges, and this doesn't have a lot, we're gonna take off. Even the neck skin is trimmed. I literally have to do nothing to this bird. So I'm gonna load up my pistol grip injector with the butter mixture. And we're gonna start in the breast, because this white meat is the stuff that typically wants to dry out the most, and the stuff that we want to be more juicy. So kind of poke around in there, create a little cavity. I'm gonna stick my finger right over that hole just until that butter kind of solidifies inside. That way we can keep as much inside as possible. I'm gonna concentrate most of my efforts on the white meat, but we are going to inject the rest of the bird. We just wanna make sure we hit that white meat first. After that, we can work our way into the thighs. And then the legs. And then if you got a little bit left over, show those wings some love. Now that the inside is seasoned, we're gonna be using the Yardbird to season the outside. This is just one of my go-to barbecue rubs. We're not gonna season the whole thing just yet, because I found that you lose a lot of the seasoning once you're handling this and trying to get it onto the can. So I'm gonna get the parts that I know I don't have to touch, like the inside of the wings, and we'll do some inside of the cavity as well. I'm gonna get some up the skin. Not too worried about peeling back the skin this time, since we have seasoned the inside with that brine. Now we're gonna be using a supersized 32-ounce can from our favorite brewery in town, Central Standard Brewing, and it's gonna go right up inside of this turkey. Now this is actually easier to do if you do it before you put beer in. Just a little bit easier to finagle. We're just gonna prop this upright onto our sheet pan. If we pop these legs out, it'll kind of help to hold this thing steady. Now we're using CSB's Laser Fog Light Show for the beer today. This is a IPA, but it's not like a super heavy IPA as far as the hops and stuff go. We'll pour this right down the cavity. Anything that comes out is fine, because we're gonna add more beer to the pan anyway. Now if you don't have access to a big can like that, you can always use something like this beer can stand that'll fit a tall boy in it, and it'll do just about the same thing and keep it stable. The rest of this bird is gonna get seasoned now that it's on the can, so we don't wipe off all this seasoning. Just kind of rub that in. We're gonna flip these wings back to keep them tight. Any extra seasoning that falls into the pan is just bonus. This next part's a little bit easier if you have a buddy. I'm gonna tip this bird around. You got it? And then we're gonna put some seasoning on all of the skin. Get that skin covered, the legs. We tip that back a little bit. There we go. The breasts. So Yardbird's gonna have your typical barbecue flavors. It's salty, it's got a little bit of sweetness. It's got obviously that chili color, that paprika in there. Beer and barbecue, what a magic combination. You can do the vertical seasoning by just kind of hitting the hand and patting it right in there. Our bird is sitting pretty now, so let's go get it onto the grill. We're cooking on the Yoder Smokers YS640s pellet grill. It's running at 375 degrees, so roasting temperature. And that's to make sure that we can get this skin cooked all the way through and rendered out. We're cooking indirect and using a combination of pecan and cherry pellets. To keep our drippings from burning up down below, I'm gonna add another can of our Lazer Fog Light Show and a little bit more water. We can check on this level throughout, but what's gonna happen essentially is you're gonna get turkey drippings that drop down, mix in with these flavors of the beer. The water's gonna keep it hydrated. You just don't want it to run dry and burn up. It's been about 2 hours and 45 minutes now. You see we've got our probes in the deepest part of the breast and the deepest part of the thigh. Breast is temping at about 158. The thighs are over 170, so this is pretty ideal. We got great color on it. Smells amazing, looks amazing. Let's get this thing out of here and rest it. Give that bird about 15 minutes to rest so those juices can kind of redistribute. I'm gonna strain off all the fat and juices left in the pan so we can use those either to dip the slices in or if you're making a gravy. If you want to, you can throw this in the fridge. The fat will separate from the juices and you can use them separately. Out comes the beer can. Smells like beer turkey juice. So let's start taking this thing apart. Wing tips we can lose. The wings themselves, just slice down, pop it, and separate at the joint. Then we'll work our way up around that drumette. Again, go to the joint, cut right through there. Doing the wings first kind of leaves you some room to access the leg portion. All right, it's kind of an awkward angle, but so that you guys can see this, I'm gonna do this from the opposite side. Basically what we wanna do is take the leg and the thigh off the bird. So you're gonna cut right down along that joint where they connect. There's this really great little oyster of meat right in here, so I always try to go around that. And then we can pop this thing open. Again, a joint. Always looking for those joints. Until it's pulled free from the body. Again, just following that seam, trying to get that nice little nugget of meat right there. We'll pop this open. Run your knife through the joint. Try to grab as much of that meat as you can. That's pretty. Now this would be a little bit easier if we take that neck back portion off of there. It'll sit a little bit flatter for us. So what you're gonna do with the breast is run your knife right down alongside the breastbone. Pick a side, any side. And then you're just gonna peel this back, slicing along the rib cage to release the entire breast. So now you've got your full breast intact and you can cut that into slices. Do the exact same thing on the other side, just cut along the other side of that breastbone and then follow the rib cage. There's a lot of little bits of picking you can do here to get out some just shredded turkey essentially, but there's still plenty of tasty meat left on this. Just work your way around, find the sweet spots. Now you can separate the leg from the thigh by searching for that joint that goes in between them. Oh my goodness, you see how juicy this is? Find that joint and run your knife through there. Now with the thigh, you got a couple of options. You can cut that bone out of there if you want to do the work to do it, so you can get slices. Inevitably, you're going to end up with some shredded meat because there's always something left behind somewhere. But if you want to serve your dark meat either in chunks or sliced, just take that bone out and then run your slicer down there. You can see we've got a pool of these juices in here, and there's tons of flavor in there. So with any of these pieces of turkey, you're gonna wanna get them coated in that juice. Gonna keep them extra juicy and add a lot of flavor. So if we lift up the skin a little bit, you can see that the meat fibers are running this way. So we're gonna kinda cut at about a 90-degree angle, slice at a 90-degree angle. And then you've got your white meat, which still has tons of juice running through it. All right, let's check out this breast meat. Oh my goodness. Buttery, juicy, savory. Pick up with just a little hint of that beer, but it is not super prevalent. But honestly, that's great. We don't make beer can turkey or beer can chicken to make it taste like beer necessarily. It does a great job of adding some aroma, as well as adding a lot of juiciness and moisture inside that turkey as it cooks. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out atbbq.com for all the products featured in today's video. In fact, we've built an entire turkey kit for this recipe, from the tools to the flavors, everything you need. You can check those out at atbbq.com. If you enjoy the recipe, hit that subscribe button. And if you have any questions or comments, or there's anything you'd like to see me cook, let me know in the comment section down below, and let's be good to one another. For more recipes, tips, and techniques, head over to atbbq.com/thesauce. All things barbecue, where barbecue legends are made.